let's start with the salute to Jackie Robinson. That was kind of cool. And this obviously has been going on. This was a pet project of the past commissioner, Bud Selig. Everybody wears number 42. It was really interesting to me. Jason Hayward held a clubhouse meeting with the Padres. And of course, he's kind of the senior citizen on the roster with a world of experience. And he talked about how young ball players should view that guy and what he meant to this sport. Talking about Jackie Robinson, why we're all wearing number 42. I was told it was a pretty impressive sit down with an intellectual clubhouse guy who's got a great track record as a leader in Jason Hayward. The Dodgers brought in Kareem Abdul-Jabbar to meet with Dodger and Rocky players that afternoon out front of the Jackie Robinson statue at Dodger Stadium. And Jabbar made really strong comments about society then, society now, made some comments about the White House, etc. Really a full spectrum of history about relationships, white versus black, and then, of course, circle back to what Jackie Robinson meant to baseball. I wrote a column on my website that ran on Wednesday about Jackie Robinson and what he went through and what he said about himself, what he said about society. And then I went through the Jackie Robinson Foundation website and I dug up all these quotes from legendary baseball people, and I added their quotes to Jackie Robinson's quotes as part of my column. I mean, I have great respect. I saw Jackie Robinson in person one time, first baseball game I ever went to at Edwards Field, Dodgers Cardinals, 1957. And as I was writing the column, I thought to myself, Jackie Robinson finished up his baseball career like he lived his entire life. White man was not going to tell him who to be, how to act. The Dodgers tried to trade Jackie Robinson in the offseason in 57 to the New York Giants. 3 weeks later, Jackie stood up and said, I'm not reporting to the Giants. You take that pitcher, Dick Littlefield, back, I'm retiring. So Jackie left baseball on his own terms rather than the white man's terms, the white man obviously being Walter O'Malley. But at the end of the day, I think we honor Jackie Robinson for what he did as a player. Lifetime career, .311 batting average, all the positions he played. Then we honor him and remember him for what he dealt with in baseball. Beanballs, getting spiked, getting cursed, getting harassed by opposing players and managers, and the unfriendly atmosphere that existed in part of that clubhouse. Now, Leo DeRocher made great impact on Jackie Robinson by standing in front of Jackie Robinson and telling Brooklyn Dodger players who had signed a petition in 1947 they wouldn't play with him. Either you take your name off that petition or we'll make sure we'll trade you out of here. And they traded a whole bunch of guys to last place Pittsburgh and last place Boston in the aftermath. DeRocher doesn't get enough credit for really being a compatriot with Jackie Robinson. And then what Robinson did from a business standpoint, a social value, political standpoint, once he retired as quickly as he did. So I just, he was a hell of a man. Never got the chance to interview him, saw him one time in person. I interviewed his wife, Rachel Robinson. She was a kind lady, and she talked a bit. And then this was in the early days when I was on Extra 690. I interviewed Rachel just about Jackie and what this experience was like. And she talked some, not as much. I interviewed Carl Erskine, who has just passed away, legendary Brooklyn Dodger pitcher. I interviewed Clem Labine, and they talked more realistically about how tense it was, how hard it was in the clubhouses, in the dugouts, on the field. And of course, the movie 42 about Jackie Robinson, there are a lot of true factors in there of how this team came together around him as they realized what a great player he was. And some, including Pee Wee Reese, really understood what he was going through emotionally. So I think just a monumentally great person with unbelievable impact on baseball, but I think in the bigger factor, unbelievable impact on baseball society. So that's the Jackie Robinson story. There's a sidebar story to Jackie Robinson Day. Rob Manfred, the commissioner who's created a lot of special things around the salute to Jackie Robinson, just indicating that he is not going to accede to what the White House wants, that Trump wants changes in the way baseball deals with Jackie Robinson. And Manfred, if I were to quote in between the lines of what he indicated, we're not changing baseball to please that guy. We have our values. And Manfred is upset about the whole DEI thing. He's obviously upset about what the White House tried to do on the Department of Defense website, deleting Jackie Robinson's military and baseball career from that website. And then there was a big uproar, and they all brought it back. And Manfred refused to take a stance on the Dodgers going to the White House to be honored. There's been an unbelievable amount of reaction to that, some pro and some con. But at the end of the day, Major League Baseball says we're not changing the way our doing our business because Donald Trump is trying to delete the success of African Americans in our game or in society. So what does Jackie Robinson mean to you? You want to talk about Manfred versus Trump? Go ahead.
Obviously, a socially impactful story, everything about Jackie Robinson. But this morning, I was flipping through my Facebook feed and I stumbled across this clip on the David Letterman show of Buck O'Neil.
Yes.
And apparently Jackie played for the Kansas City Monarchs in 1945.
Before he signed the minor league contract with the Montreal Royals.
Yeah, exactly. So Buck was telling this story about how they were in Oklahoma, and Oklahoma was very segregated then, and they had gone to a filling station and they were in a big bus and they filled up, one tank of gas, 50 gallons, another tank of gas, 50 gallons. They went and paid for it. The gentleman at the filling station said, "Thank you very much." And then Jackie Robinson said, "Excuse me, I'd like to use your restroom." And that was a whites only restroom. And the guy at the filling station says, "Boy, where do you think you're going? And you can't use that." And then Jackie Robinson said, he goes, "If you won't let me use that, then we will kindly return the 50-gallon tank and the other 50-gallon tank of gasoline." And then he said, "Well, young man, you just go ahead and use the restroom. Just be quick about it." And as Jackie Robinson got back on the bus, Buck O'Neil said that he taught them a very valuable lesson, that the Negro Leagues were bringing business into these cities, and they were bringing their dollars. They're just as green as the next guys, and that it was actually capitalism that was something that was special here in this case that kind of gets over a lot of this abject racism.
And that was pictured, obviously, as in part of the movie 42, in the Jackie Robinson movie that had been released just a couple years ago.
Nice.
Just his accomplishments as an individual, doing it by himself. That's the most amazing thing. Not everybody on the Brooklyn Dodger dugout was pro Jackie Robinson. There were a lot of Southerners on the Brooklyn Dodger roster from Alabama and Mississippi, and they were flat out racists. Not everybody agreed, but Branch Rickey told them, "You don't want to be here with Jackie Robinson? We'll do everything we can to get you out of here." And he did.
Yeah.
He
Good on
moved
those
guys
guys.
out of it. So you're a baseball fan, historian, got an opinion on Jackie Robinson? Feel free to jump on board. Let's quickly